Welcome back to the City Life Project YouTube channel for yet another picks and predictions video. This one is for Super Ryzen 3, and this is my favorite preview to do every single month because we are bringing back again, friend of the show, our friend from the We Are Ryzen podcast, Jay Wolf. Good to see you, my man. How are you?
What's up, brother? How you doing? Thanks for having me on again. I can't wait to do the City Life Project with you again. This is one of my favorite shows. I love the energy you bring, Aisha. This is awesome. Thank you for having me on again, and thank you for covering the Epic Ryzen Fighting Federation. As you know, with the Superior Rule Set is my favorite promotion in the entire world. So I can't thank you enough for giving coverage and giving content and let me on to talk with you about this show. I'm so pumped about this show. The Super Ryzen 3 card. The event, this is one of their tentpole events. This one, Super Ryzen 3 and New Year's Eve are the two biggest shows that Ryzen puts on each year. So I just can't wait to talk with you about this show. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be awesome indeed. And to all of our listeners, to all of our viewers, Jay Wolf is a bigger Ryzen fan than me, and I didn't even think that could be possible. So it's an honor to bring him on the show for these previews, picks, and predictions every single month. And he's going to be the regular contributor. He's going to be my right-hand man for every Ryzen picks and predictions video that we can fit into our schedule before every card. So let's get right into it, starting with the first bout of the night. Suguru Nii against Kazumasa Majima. How do you see this one playing out?
You know, I'm really happy that they put this one as the first fight of the night because it's a banger on paper. Suguru Nii is an up-and-comer in the featherweight division. He's going to establish himself as a contender, so he wants to make a big statement in this fight right here. And also, he knows the assignment. And you know what we talk about when we say it knows the assignment means he knows how to utilize the Superior Rule Set and throw grounded kicks. Remember, we got to stop calling them soccer kicks. Grounded kicks because with Jay Krish from Focus Fights Audio, his interview with Shingo Kasuwagi, number 2 at the Epic Ryzen Fighting Federation, saying there's a legalization push to get the Superior Rule Set legalized in America and everywhere else, and if we could call them grounded kicks instead of soccer kicks. So that's what we want to do from now on. So Suguru Nii has a grounded kick finish in his repertoire, so he knows the assignment. So I'm really looking for him to bring the action in this fight. And his opponent, Majima, he's looking to bounce back after a loss to Imanari. Old man Imanari got him with a sweet heel hook or leg lock submission in his last fight, caught him by surprise. So Majima is looking to get that, like avenge. I wouldn't say avenge. But he's looking to get back in the win column. So he's really looking to come into this bout to really bring the action. Both men are. Both men are really going to bring the action, and that's why they put this as the kickoff for this card right here. So I'm really looking forward to this one, bringing the action. And to answer your question about who am I picking, my head says Nii. I just think Nii really wants to establish himself as a legitimate contender. This is in the featherweight division, 145-pound division, and Nii wants to establish himself as a contender. But Majima is no pushover. Like I said, he's coming off a loss to old man Imanari that he wants to just erase from everybody's memories and get back in the win column. So he's really going to bring it. So this is a really exciting clash between two, rising guys in the featherweight division. But I just think Nii is going to be the one to take it. And also, don't forget to mention, he's the current Pancrase champion, right? So he's a champion of another organization coming here trying to establish himself as a title contender in the Epic Ryzen Fighting Federation, and probably arguably their most stacked division, which is featherweight. This is a division where the champion is Chihiro Suzuki, the only man to knock out Patricio pound for pound Pitbull, and I think that is what is going to be hopefully going to be the next fight for Chihiro Suzuki is going to be Patricio pound for pound Pitbull, the rematch in on New Year's Eve, because PFL Bellator is what they call it. They released a chart of events, and December 31st is their last event for their Bellator shows this year, and it's going to be in Japan. So that is, and they released a graphic earlier in the year saying that it was going to be in the Saitama Super Arena in Japan. So that's got to be a collaboration event. And, if they don't fumble the bag, it should be Chihiro Suzuki versus Patricio pound for pound Pitbull, the rematch. That is the headliner for New Year's Eve unless unless Don Davis or whoever fumbles the bag. But all signs are pointing to that being happening. So that's why this fight with Nee and Majima is to establish, or at least get their name in the mix for the next contender at featherweight right here. So I really expect them to bring the action to kick off the card. I just can't wait. It's going to be awesome. And Nee is one of the fan favorites, especially the We Are Rising podcast lead host, Andrew Benjamin. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how Nee can if he really brings the action here. It's going to be awesome either way. It's a perfect headline, perfect kickoff to this incredible Super Rising 3 event.
Absolutely. And Suguru Nee, 18-11 as a pro, but don't let that record, which isn't like the worst record out there, but don't let that fool you. He's 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Like Jay Wolf said, Pancrase champion up against Kazuma's Majima, who's 16-5 as a pro, but 2-3 in his last 5. And like you said, coming off a loss against Old Man Imanari, I mean, you want to get a win back after that for sure. I have Suguru Nee winning this one as well, and I'm a huge fan of Nee as well, and you'll get a kick out of this. On the same night as 2 friends in PFL refused to actually fight each other and were each fined and kicked out of the tournament because they had like a glorified, not even sparring match, but just rolling session because they didn't want to hurt each other. 2 friends, right? On the same night where we saw that absolute disgrace of a performance in PFL, Suguru Nee soccer kicked his high school friend in the face. This guy is amazing.
He grounded kicked him.
Grounded kicked him in the face, yes.
That was his friend. That was the same night as the PFL guys. Oh, that's hilarious. I didn't even know that.
And that's just why Ryzen is so much better. Nee is a violent striker. Like Jay Wolf said, Pancrase champ also has a really good ground game. Because as we know, Majima is more... Like, he can strike, but most of his finishes come via MMA grappling. He has 13 submissions and only 1 KO TKO in his pro MMA career. And I think Suguru Nee is just... way more well-rounded, a little bit better in MMA grappling, and just a way more violent fighter overall. Fighter by day, bouncer by night as well. And yeah, I got Suguru Nee to win this one. He's actually the underdog at plus 122, so I think that's easy money, Suguru Nee, yeah.
Wow, so he's the betting underdog in this one?
Smash that, everybody.
Absolutely, I would take that bet in a heartbeat. I mean, he's just, he's got the momentum. Like you were saying, Majima's coming off of a loss. Even though it's Old Man Imanari and it was a surprise loss, still, he's coming off a loss, does not have the momentum going in this fight. Nee is looking to establish himself as a contender and has all the momentum. Man, I can't believe that he's a plus underdog. That's incredibly, I think that's free money right there for everybody. They should definitely check and cash that. And that's hilarious that, it shows Nee really has the killer instinct that he's willing to even fight his friends and grounded kick his friends in the face. That's on the same night that, over here in the Western MMA PFL, 2 guys would not fight each other because they were friends. It just shows that Nee's got that killer instinct, knows the assignment, and he's coming here looking for blood to establish himself as a contender at featherweight. So like you're saying, I should cash that bet, man. That's to me, that's a guaranteed underdog bet right there. It would be a shocking upset if Majima really, knocked Nee off the run he's on right now. So I'm surprised that the odds makers would do that. That's incredible. Maybe they got a lot of stock in Majima's abilities. He is a good fighter, but it's just like all the signs are pointing to Nee.
I think a lot of people looked at how many submissions he has and just assumes that he's a better grappler than Nee, which he's not. Like, if anything, I know Andrew on the We Are Rising podcast, and Andrew is a grappler, so I trust his judgment a lot more than these, random casual Rising fans who are betting on this card. He said that Nee is actually slightly better, and from the footage that I've seen, he's just incredibly well-rounded. So I'm going with Nee on this one. Let's move on to the next one here. The first of 2 BKFC fights, and we were talking about this the last time we had you on the show. So awesome that BKFC and Ryzen are partnering now. Ryzen is a fighting federation. I love how they partner and cross promote with Road FC. I love how now they're cross promoting with BKFC. I love how they mended their relationship with KSW, and we should see some cross promotion fights with them in the future. Hell, maybe even the next card that we have you on for, we'll hear about some KSW cross promotion as well. But anyways, we have Ty Emery against Charissa Sigala. Now, both of these women are a little bit older. Both of these women have a boxing background. Sigala more of a BKFC background than that of Ty Emery. Sigala, though, has lost a lot of her BKFC fights. She's only won one bare knuckle fight in how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In 7 BKFC fights, she's only gotten one victory and one draw, I should say. But she's never been knocked out in a BKFC fight. The only time she's had to retire was due to an ankle injury. She's 40 years of age, whereas Ty Emery, 37 years of age, a boxer. 1-1 in BKFC. She lost her last fight, unanimous decision, and won her first BKFC fight. And let's just say a lot of us remember that fight for different reasons. Not necessarily for the knockout, but for different reasons. J Wolf, I have Ty Emery winning this one. She's younger. She's more technical. She hits harder. Now, her opponent is tough and scrappy, but just a lot slower. Lost, like I said, a lot of BKFC fights. So I'm just more impressed with Ty Emery's last couple BKFC fights, even in the loss, than that of Sigala. What say you on this one?
Yeah, I'm in total agreement. I mean, on everything that you just said, I absolutely love the collaboration with BKFC. It's a talent sharing collaboration too. It's not just, you know, a one-off thing. I mean, they've already had sent guys over to a previous show in Rizin in Japan, to sent the BKFC official over as well to explain the rules, to officiate, and it was just awesome. And I expect the same thing here. And you know what I'm hoping? Did you see how Conor McGregor has an ownership stake in BKFC now, and he's been tweeting about or posting on X about, you know, all the BKFC events that have been happening? I'm hoping that we get some Conor McGregor tweets or posts on X or Twitter at least a couple times before this event. I mean, how huge would that be for the event? And I love what you're saying about the collaboration. It's so awesome. I can't wait to see how it develops in the future, and if some BKFC guys come over for not just bare knuckle, but also mixed martial arts, superior rule sets. They have a lot of guys like Eddie Alvarez and et cetera that have fought for in Japan before, that would be prime candidates to do both. And their champion, John Dotson, who is also on this card, I'm sure we'll talk about coming up here soon. He's also moonlights between the two promotions. He fights mixed martial arts and is a bare knuckle boxing champion in BKFC, the flyweight division. So I've been looking for a lot more of that to happen. And I just love how you also brought up KSW. Also, in the previous fight we're talking about with Nee, talking about the PFL Bellator collaboration that's happening and continuing to happen. So I can't wait to see that continue to develop. Just absolutely love the collaboration. And to get back to this fight here with Ty Emery, I mean, I love it. I mean, it's women's bare knuckle. That's something that Japanese have never seen on their soil before. It's going to be fantastic. And you know, also what I love about the collaboration of bare knuckle is it gets the Japanese audience used to blood. Remember how we were talking about last time when we were talking about when the original bare knuckle fight happened over there? That's going to get the Japanese audience acclimated and used to seeing blood.
And they liked it. They loved it, which was awesome, because that was kind of the test, right? And yes, they loved it, and they want more of it, which is great. Absolutely. And because we've had several fights before that have been stopped prematurely because just a little tiny cut, just a little bit of blood, or like a broken nose even that's bleeding too much, they would stop the fight because of the blood. And I just love the BKFC collaboration because it will toughen them up. Let's just you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that's the right word, but it'll get them acclimated and used to, and toughen them up to seeing blood and allowing mixed martial arts fights to continue even though there's a cut with some blood or a broken nose with some blood. So I just love that aspect about the BKFC collaboration as well. And just, you know, in this bout right here, you're talking about, I'm agreeing with you. I got Ty Emery. And, you know, let's say exactly why she was known for that first win. Because after the win, she went and flashed the audience with her fantastic boobs. And so, you know, I think she's also an OnlyFans model. So it's great advertising for everything. And I don't know if she's going to be able to do that in this
fight because in Japan they got rules against a decent exposure or whatever. But like I was saying on the We Are Rising podcast and Focus Fights audio podcast, what if she has nipple coverings? Can she still do her signature flash after if she gets the win here, which I think she will? I think she should talk to the Japanese officials and see if what would be breaking the rules or not. If she can have nipple coverings or have like a bikini top underneath, and she should still flash the crowd and make that part of her like her gimmick or shtick or whatever you want to call it. And this fight, I'm hoping it's going to be a lot of action, a lot of blood, and we get a nice, fantastic knockout right here in the second bout of the night for Ty Emery.
I hope that if she does that, the camera goes right after to Bara's face, because I want to see if he has like a subtle smirk or if he's like.
I bet you're gonna have a smirk.
I think so as well. I think so as well. All right, let's move on to the next one here. Hiroki Suzuki against Yaman. Yaman making his return against Suzuki, who honestly, I wasn't as confident picking him in his last showing, and that was just on me being, I'm gonna say it, a little age bias. I thought that, the age factor would have played a part in his demise, where it hasn't been at all. He fights like he's freaking 30, despite him almost being 40. He's 4-3 as a pro, coming over from kickboxing. His last 2 wins have been brutal KO, TKO, ground and pound. And Yaman, he's done with kickboxing. He didn't look good in his first MMA debut against Ren Hiromoto. Ren Hiromoto actually honestly just threw him around pretty easily. And I know Yaman, again, coming from kickboxing, doesn't have the grappling at all. But you'd think he would have prepared a little bit for that Ren Hiromoto fight. Dude, Ren Hiromoto absolutely ragdolled him, threw him around. Didn't finish him, but clearly got the win in that one. Suzuki actually looks good in mixed martial arts, right? He does have he has a lot better grappling than anything that Yaman will show. He has a lot better grappling, in my opinion, than Ren Hiromoto. And he's never been finished in MMA. His 2 losses in MMA, one to Ren Hiromoto, split decision. I honestly think that Suzuki should have won that fight personally. And then Jin Aoi beat him unanimous decision. He's never been finished in mixed martial arts yet, so he's still tough as nails. He's still super quick. I think he looks so good for his age. Still has KO power. Still has fast hands. Has lost to kickboxer turn MMA fighters before in that of Yaman, so you can kind of put that into the narrative as well. The last 2 wins have been violent, and yeah, his losses in MMA have been close losses, and he's never been purely dominated. So I am going Suzuki on this one. Yaman, like I said, did not look good in his MMA debut. And if Ren can control him, I think Suzuki will destroy him on the feet. I still think Suzuki hits harder, but if it does stay on the feet, it will be a little bit competitive. I have Suzuki as the -135 favorite. What say you?
Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement just because this is MMA and not just a purely striking contest. If you also look at their record, isn't all of his wins by knockout?
Yep.
Yes. So this is 2 knockout artists being pitted against each other, and this is
with small gloves. With small gloves. Exactly,
and that's Yaman's specialty, right? Yaman is coming off of a win against the headliner of Super Rising 3, Mikuru Asakura. He's coming off a knockout win of him in a kickboxing fight or a small gloves kickboxing fight. So this is Yaman's specialty, is small gloves striking. But Suzuki is an MMA fighter, so we're gonna have to see has Yaman, got more grappling experience? Has he learned his lesson from that Ren Hiromoto fight? And has he practiced his grappling? Has he trained, takedown defense, all that good stuff? Because Suzuki, he knows how to fight mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
So I'm in agreement with Aisha on this one. I think that Suzuki's experience in mixed martial arts is going to be too much for Yaman to overcome. But you never know. I mean, that's my head pick. My heart pick is with Yaman. I want Yaman to get the victory here, and I think that because it's 2 knockout artists going at each other here, they want to keep the fight standing to get the knockout. And I think Suzuki is only going to revert to grappling if he gets in trouble in the striking. So, and as long as Yaman has learned his lesson from Ren, and train some grappling and some takedown defense, he has a good shot at the upset here. And also another factor I want to talk about for this fight is the walkouts and the pageantry that everybody loves about the Epic Rizin Fighting Federation.
Who's going to have the better walkout? Because both of their walkouts are always crazy.
Yeah, and if you remember last year, Yaman got the walkout of the year last year. He won walkout of the year last year. He always comes in with, you know, Vegas showgirls dancing and with the music and everything, and just it's awesome. Yaman's walkouts are awesome, and I expect nothing less for this super event right here. It's Super Rizin 3. I expect him to go all out on the walkouts, and it's going to be interesting to see who has the best walkout tonight. Would be it Yaman or be it someone like John Dodson who comes out like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle style sometimes, you know. So, but
Ashizawa has fun walkouts too. Not as extravagant, but he's always battle rapping and dissing somebody.
Exactly, and same with Ren Hiramoto, right?
Yeah,
Ren Hiramoto. I mean, so it's going to be real interesting to see who's going to have the best walkout for Super Rizin 3, and one of the top contenders for that is definitely Yaman, because he always brings it for the walkout. And in the fights, like we're saying, it's between two knockout artists. So hopefully, hopefully Yaman has learned from his, loss to Ren, that he needs to, get his grappling up to par. And if it does that, I think there's a good chance for the upset. But my head is still picking Suzuki, just like I'm going with Aisha, what he's saying about Suzuki. He is also a knockout artist and has never had a really, only close decision losses. So he's a tough out. So, I mean, it's going to be a banger. They matched him up with two knockout artists to have a banger. And I think that it will only be grappling if Suzuki is not able to hang with the striking. So I'm really excited to see how it plays out. Hopefully it is a banger like everybody wants. So, but also I can't wait to see the walkouts. I can't wait this whole card. But this fight is actually as well is going to be a banger. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, folks, if you thought Jay Wolf was excited for that fight, just wait till he talks about this next one. And I'll tee you up to start it here, because I have probably less notes than you do. But we have Reina against Kate Lotus. Now, I know you're a huge Reina Sugiyama fan. She is 3-2 in her last 5 fights, and her only 2 losses have been actually to really good opponents in Siwoo Park and Claire Lopez. And even her last fight, Yuri Shim gave her a run for her money, but she ended up winning the decision. I rewatched the fight a couple times, and you're right, she was a little bit more aggressive in the 3rd round to get that win, but I think we can all agree that, Yuri Shim really had a great performance and just made that fight so awesome to watch. She's taking on Kate Lotus, who's 5-6 as a pro, coming out of deep. She's only 26 years of age, and she has improved a lot since her first 2 years as a pro, but she's 2-3 in her last 5, and let's be honest, she hasn't really faced anyone close to the same level as your girl, Reina. How do you see this one playing out, and who do you pick to win this one?
I absolutely love this fight. It's one of my favorite fights tonight. I just love Reina Kubota. I call her Striker Queen Reina. Her official name is Shootboxing Queen Reina. I mean, she just got beautiful technique. She is a beautiful woman with beautiful technique inside the ring and cage, and I love her stomps. Her stomps, especially her flying stomp, that technique is so beautiful. It's the best flying stomp techniques in Shogun Hua, I think, really. And it's so good. I want her to go around to all the gyms in Japan and just teach a seminar on flying stomps. It's incredible. Look up her. I'm trying to find which fight that was for y'all, where she did the flying. I'll have that for like the review shows. Get it exactly for you. But it was it was so fantastic, and that's why I'm hoping for more of here. That's part of the reason why I love her so much, is that she's a sensational striker. She's like the epitome of a superior rule set striker. She definitely knows the assignment. And, just a beautiful, I mean, she cut her hair short. I don't really like that look. But if she's going to cut her hair short, better make sure her bangs are short. Because if you notice in her last couple of fights, including the Yuri Shim fight that Aisha was talking about, her bangs kept getting in her eyes. She kept having to wipe them out of her eyes every time she was fighting.
She was looking like Patty Pimblett.
Yeah, so it's like, if you're going to cut your hair short, then at least cut your bangs short to where they're not getting in your eyes each time and hindering your performance. So we'll see how it plays out. But, I mean, she was supposed to fight. Reina Kubota, Striker Queen Reina, was supposed to fight Sika Izawa on this card for the title, atomweight title.
I wanted to see that so bad because I'm such an Izawa fan too.
I know. But Izawa got hurt. She got a foot injury, so it had to be postponed. And this fight is just to keep Striker Queen Reina on the card. And big ups to Kate Lotus for stepping up against such a tough opponent. And this is really her chance to really shock the world and make a name for herself right here. If she's able to do it, it'd be one of the biggest upsets in Rizin history. And it'd be huge. It'd knock Reina out of because I believe that they're gonna still do Striker Queen Reina versus Izawa for the atomweight title on New Year's Eve. It's gonna be part of the New Year's Eve mega event. I think they're gonna do Chihiro Pitbull and Sika Izawa versus Reina, and that's gonna be a massive 1-2 punch for that card. And that probably won't even be. There probably even more. Because that's their big card is New Year's Eve, but include this one. It was all supposed to be on this one. So imagine how big this card is right here, Super Rizin 3, and how much bigger it would have even been if it would have kept Reina versus Izawa for the atomweight title on this one. So it just goes to show you that Sakakibara-san, he's really putting the epic into the epic Rizin Fighting Federation, as I like to say, and going big for these cards. So, but I mean, what more can we say about Striker Queen Reina? She's
gonna win. She's gonna win.
Yeah, she's got to win. She's got to win to keep the Izawa fight on track. And again, big ups to Kate Lotus for stepping up for this fight. But still, I mean, I just think Reina's gonna be too much with her. She's obviously got the better striking. Reina's obviously, I mean, she has really
she's stronger too. So
grappling.
she's bigger. She's stronger. Like. She's better everywhere. She's the minus 800 favorite. Yeah, I just think she beats her everywhere. Kate Lotus just hasn't proved that she can beat or hang with an opponent of Reina's level yet.
Right. And also, did you see the Japanese commentators posting about this? I shouldn't say the Japanese fans posting about this on X or Twitter. They were saying that this is the Japanese beauty showdown. I just love that. I love when they say that. Remember against Yuri Shim? They said it was the Japanese-Korean beauty showdown. Yeah. So I just love how they keep going with this theme of the beauty showdowns between these beauties that are getting in the ring for us. And as I like to call it, this is a true hot girl fight. I mean, both these women are very good-looking and a very exciting and beautiful technique inside the ring cage as well. So this is one of my favorite fights tonight. Even though it's supposed to be Striker Queen Reina supposed minus 800 favorite like you're saying. I'm just really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to how is she going to be able to win? Is she going to utilize? I mean, she knows the assignment, so I'm looking for some superior rule set technique in this fight. It's just going to make it just that much more awesome. I absolutely love it. So I just can't wait to watch this one. It's going to be awesome.
There's going to be a stomp involved if she stuffs a takedown. Enough said.
Absolutely. If she stuffs a takedown, there's going to be grounded knees, grounded kicks, and what I'm hoping is if she rocks her. If Striker Queen Reina rocks Lotus, I'm hoping that there's going to be a flying stomp finish, the first flying stomp finish of the new era, and y'all are going to get to see exactly the beautiful flying stomp technique that I've been raving about for years, and you see exactly why I love Striker Queen Reina. She's the best. So I just can't wait for this one, and hopefully it's a sensational finish like we're talking about. So it's going to be awesome.
All right, let's get to the next one here. The second and last BKFC fight on this Rizin card. John Dodson, BKFC champ and also current Rizin MMA fighter, is taking on Takaki Soya in BKFC in Bare Knucks. Now, I did hear that originally he was going to have the rematch against the opponent who he had a draw against in his last BKFC fight, who was that Dagoberto Aguero, and that was a very, very close fight. I was actually scared that Dodson was going to lose the title in that one. I think a draw was fair, even though some people were saying that he lost that one. Now, Dagoberto did not want to come into Japan to have the rematch there, but Rizin still wanted to introduce more BKFC to the fans with Dodson, given that he is one of their fighters in MMA anyways, and the Japanese fighters love him. So I think it was a good move regardless. Dodson did lose his last MMA fight in Rizin, almost lost in BKFC. I mean, he needs to get a little bit of his confidence back anyway, so why not put him up against a Bare Knucks first-timer in Soya, who I do want to say is a very good striker and a power puncher. I mean, in MMA, he does have 9 KO TKOs, but this is a completely different sport, and you can't really train for bare knucks. You kind of have to just have a fight to be able to be like, oh, this is what it is, right? Because there's no way you can just train bare knucks. There's no way you can spar bare knucks, right? Or you're going to hurt yourself, or you're going to hurt your training partner. John Dodson, J Wolf, is the minus 1,800 favorite in this one. So again, shout out to Soya for dipping his foot in this water. And maybe after this one, he'll want to continue, and maybe some of his Japanese peers will be like, oh, even though you're probably going to lose, and I'm just assuming he's going to lose, that was a lot of fun. I want to try that next. I don't think it's going to be close. The odds makers don't think it's going to be close, just because John Dodson has already so much experience in bare knucks. He had 3 straight wins. He's the title holder. He had a draw in his last one in a grueling 5-round fight. So he has 4 really good wins, or 4 really good fights. 3 of those being wins in BKFC. And like I said, you can't really train for this. You have to kind of learn on the job in this very unique and exciting sport that is bare knuckle. John Dodson, even in MMA, was a hard hitter. I believe even in the UFC, one of his last knockouts was against Nathaniel Wood, who's fighting on this UFC 304 card as well. Nathaniel Wood's hard to finish, and John Dodson beat him at like, what, 35, 36 years of age. He still has that power. And yeah, I think he's going to beat this one. I think the odds makers are right. He's going to run away with it. He's going to blitz him. But I am stoked and happy that he is going to be one of those who are going to further show off this great sport to the Japanese audience, and likely be back for MMA on New Year's as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love that intro. The breakdown you just gave right there. I did not even know that they were going to be doing the rematch for the bare knuckle title with the guy that he had to draw with previously. That is very interesting information, and it makes sense why they would match him up with this. This guy is pretty much like a replacement for the guy that John Dodson drew with. But that's why he's getting a shot at title, and it's not. I mean, this is a non-title bout, right?
Yeah, non-title bout.
Yeah, so that explains exactly why. I did not know that going into this, that they were going to originally do it for the title, the rematch that he drew, with the guy he drew with, and that makes totally more sense of why it was such a minus 1,800 favorite, like you're saying. So it just makes sense that it means Soya stepped up, because just like Kate Lotus in the previous fight with Striker Queen Reina, Soya is stepping up to face the bare knuckle champion John Dodson to keep him on the card. So imagine if all these fights had stayed intact originally, like as they were. Imagine how much bigger this card would be. We would have a bare knuckle title fight, rematch of John Dodson and the guy he drew with for the bare knuckle title. We'd have a Striker Queen Reina Sekizawa atomweight title fight, and we'd have the main event super fight between Mikuru and Rim and the Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. Man, what an incredible event this was. This is a super event. No wonder it's called Super Rising 3. Sakakibara-san, one of the GOATs, if not the GOAT promoter. I mean, he just does it again. I just can't believe it. And this is why, it's only 11 fights on this card. For these reasons of why, guys are pulling out and guys and girls are pulling out with injuries and stuff like that. That's why you need to have 15 fights. That's why UFC, I believe, does 14 or 15 every single card for exactly stuff like this. But it's good that they're keeping Dodson on the card. Like you were saying, Aisha, he moonlights back and forth. He might be coming back. The Japanese fans absolutely love him. He's probably going to be coming back for New Year's Eve for a mixed martial arts fight. And like you're saying, he lost his last mixed martial arts bout against Oji Kubo, who is also on this card. And he went to a draw in his most recent BKFC fight. Yeah. So he is hungry to get a win.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is hungry to get. And before that, he was on a knockout win streak, right? He had several finishes before the previous 2 fights. So he's looking to really put on a show for his Japanese fans. I'm looking for a sensational walkout from him and a sensational performance to just absolutely steamroll Soya and just give the fans what they want, which is a John Dodson knockout, and to get on the mic and say, oh, he's coming back probably for New Year's, and to call out somebody, some big names or something, because he was one of the ones that was going to be, they were trying to get him to be a title contender for Kyoji Horiguchi, right? And OG Kubo played spoiler. OG Kubo is also on this on this card in a bout against another Kyoji opponent, and they're going to. We'll talk about that later. But I mean, John Dawson with the win right here could put himself right back in the mix for, with a sensational victory here. He's going to be, I mean, maybe he might rematch OG Kubo on New Year's. Who knows? I mean, we'll see how it goes. But he's going to get himself right back in the mix for the flyweight title and mixed martial arts. And he's probably going to call out the person that I forget what the guy's name is now, but the guy that he drew with in BKFC, I guarantee he's going to call him out and be like, hey, you're next, buddy. This is just a preview, and it's going to be awesome. So I just love the collaboration. This is part of the bout that I'm hoping Conor McGregor will send out at least a tweet for or a post on X for. I mean, it's going to be awesome. So I just love it all around. The collaboration of BKFC, sending big name fighters over that moonlight between both promotions. It's awesome. So I just can't wait to see it and how it plays out going forward into the future. It's going to be awesome all around.
You know what I was just thinking of? I mean, and this is totally in Sakakibara's realm. They need to bring Mike Perry over for the New Year's show. Oh my God, that would be amazing.
I mean, they were saying the We Are Rising podcast, people were saying that, and on the Rising Discord, which is awesome. Everybody should join that. It's a lot of fun in there. They were saying that Mike Perry has felony convictions on his record. And the Japanese, they don't allow people with felonies on their record to enter the country and stuff like that. I don't know if we can get a waiver. I don't know how that works. If it's possible, I'm 100% in agreement. I mean,
Jay Wolf, Sakakibara has connections with certain groups that can get him into the country. I mean, Ryan Garcia's coming into the country. Doesn't necessarily have felons, but he goes against the grain for what the Japanese culture, I think, likes to, and Bara's flying him in private jet too. So I mean, if push comes to shove, we'll see.
Absolutely. And speaking of the felons that can't enter the country, you remember the report recently about Vugar Karimov and the Azerbaijani?
Yep. He's in prison right now.
Well, I think he just got released from prison. Like they just remember he finished his sentence, which was 6 months for Vugar Karimov, and Tofik Musayev got a fine of a couple $100,000 or whatever it was of yen. And then the other fighter, I can't remember what his name is right now, darn it, but he got nothing, so it wasn't. He had no involvement. But what I'm thinking is that they're going to have Vugar Karimov be part of like the KSW collaboration later this year. I'm guessing they're going to be sending over Kleber because Kleber was former KSW champion, yep. So he's the obvious candidate for a KSW collaboration at the end of the year in December. And if Vugar Karimov has a felony conviction where he can't get into the country anymore, then he would also be a prime candidate for the KSW collaboration or the international events that they're going to do in the future. So, which, by the way, in this intermission that might be happening, they might be doing some announcements for the intermission during Super Rising 3. I'm wondering, and we'll get to this later during the Pac-Man fight, what are the intermission announcements going to be? Is it going to be for the next international event? Is there going to be more fights announced, more events announced? I can't wait to see what it's going to be. So just all around intrigue for this. But I just want to get that little caveat in there about felony, since you brought up Mike Perry, which would be awesome to have in the Epic Rising Fighting Federation in bare knuckle or mixed martial arts. And if he can get a waiver to get in and get out of that felony stuff, then absolutely bring him over. Match up with whoever you want. Just get him in the Epic Rising ring and on the mic, hyping up Rising. It'd just be gold mine. Absolute gold mine.
Felony Bennett fought in Japan. They can get Mike Perry into the country.
Exactly. They've had other guys with felonies that have been able to fight in Japan. Exactly. Exactly. It's literally in his name. So if they can get Felony Bennett in there, they can get Mike Perry in there and Karimov on all this. I mean, it just man, that'd be a gold mine. Absolutely.
Right. Let's get to this next one here. A rematch, a kickboxing rematch, but now in mixed martial arts. We have Resi Ashizawa against Kuzi. Now, I know you guys on the We Are Rising podcast didn't seem as interested in this fight compared to some of the other ones, but I am all in on this one because I don't think either of these guys are going to go full MMA. I think this is going to be basically a glorified small gloves kickboxing fight, but with 3 5-minute rounds. I am excited for this one, especially with how much heat has been between them at the press conferences, the drama that's been going on. I mean, honestly, I know there's some big names that are selling this fight, Pacquiao in particular, but for the hardcore fans like us, this rivalry has sold the fight more than anything, in my opinion. Ashizawa has beaten Kuzi in kickboxing. Now, it was a split decision win, but he still beat him there. Did not look good in his MMA debut, but like, what the hell was Rizin thinking, putting him up against Shinobu Ota? Oh, I'll tell you what they were thinking. They wanted to give Ota a fucking layup, and furthermore, Ota knocked him out twice. Ota submitted him, or sorry, put him out twice, submitted him. The ref missed the submission. Ashizawa comes back to life, and he freaking elbows knocks him out too. So like, God, it was just, they did Ashizawa dirty in that one. So I'm glad that they booked this one because Koji Tanaka, Cozy, did get a beautiful grounded kick victory in his last fight, which was awesome. But again, that I don't think Ashizawa is going to be shooting for takedowns or anything like that. If anything, Kuzi will be probably leaning on the grappling a little bit more if Ashizawa gets the better of him in the striking. I'm going with the underdog in this one. I'm going with Ashizawa. Yeah. Because again, if Kuzi employs any grappling, he might have the slight edge. But Ashizawa's beat him before in a close fight. They're both hard-hitting guys. I think the small gloves is going to benefit Ashizawa a little bit more. There's so much hype between this one. Ashizawa, I feel like, has a lot more hatred in this one. Now, sometimes that can be a bad thing, but sometimes that can be a good thing in fueling the fire, and I'm going to bank on that for this one, especially since he's only a plus 160. I think that's good value. If it stays on the feet...
That's how close the odds are?
Yep.
It's plus 160, and is Cozy, how much is he minus?
I'll bring that up here in a sec.
Oh, okay.
And I got Ashizawa winning if this just stays on the feet. And if he gets a TKO with those small gloves, you better believe that he's going to be battle rapping over Kuzi's half-dead, concussed TKO corpse. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I do love this fight. It's two kickboxing crossovers fighting under mixed martial arts rules. So I'm guessing, I'm like you, Aisha. I think it's going to be a stand-up war in small gloves, striking battle with small gloves. And I seriously doubt we'll see much grappling in this. I don't think it's going to be like the MVP Semtex Daily situation where we got two sensational strikers who decide to grapple the entire time. I seriously doubt that's going to happen. And I think it's going to be a striking battle. And like you were saying, the build-up to this one has been incredible. The first presser, they got into a brawl at the presser. That was incredible. That brawl at the presser was so fun. It was, dude, go look it up. All y'all, go look up the first presser where they announced this.
Yep. And Ashizawa, he looked like he was straight from Russia with his freaking getup as well, with the tracksuit.
Yeah, he just rushes Cozy, and they get into blows right there. The press had to be separated. They had to take his nickname is Catfish.
Which
Catfish
is awesome, by the way. Which is awesome.
They had to take Catfish away from the stage, so it was only Cozy up there on stage with the two Rising girls taking pictures afterwards, after the brawl. It was just incredible hype already for this Super Rising 3 card. And just, I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing, are they going to continue this at the weigh-ins, or the pre-fight? Is there going to be any pre-fight brawls or anything like that between these two at the weigh-ins or wherever? I mean, it's the heat building up to this fight. It was incredible, and I'm really hoping that the fight delivers for the fans between two kickboxing crossovers. And and I hope this is superior rule set action, like you were saying, Aisha. Cozy knows the assignment. He's already had a grounded kick in one of his fights. So, I mean, is he going to know the assignment in this one? And, and same thing with Catfish. I'm sure Catfish, he got a super tough opponent in Ota. So this is going to be, I mean, really, this is like a redemption fight for him in mixed martial arts. And just the buildup was incredible. and I'm hoping the fight delivers as well. And that's interesting to know. I did not know the odds were that close.
Yeah, so I have them up here. So Kuzi's a minus 180 favorite.
That's barely, I mean, that's an even fight pretty much.
Yeah,
that's
it's close.
Barely 2-1. I mean, that's incredible. I really like that. And I like this matchup between two kickboxing crossovers. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm hoping it delivers, like we're saying. So, I mean, but you picked Catfish, right?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna pick Cozy for this one. Just differentiate, because we've been picking the same people this whole time.
Hey, great minds think alike. That's why.
Yeah, exactly, brother.
Oh man. All right, let's get to this next one, which is an interesting matchup, to say the least, before we go to intermission. I imagine some people might even take an early intermission for this one, but no, we're going to be glued to our streams watching this one. Little Volk Hideo Tokoro against Hiora Kondo. Now, Kondo, 9-12-1 as a pro. An under 500 record, but had a upset victory against Joe Arai in his last fight. He actually knocked him out, TKO. Now, I do know that Joe Arai took that fight not necessarily on short notice. He wasn't a replacement fighter by any means, but it was a quick turnaround after an absolute war that he had in his last fight, and I truly believe that that's why he lost that one. It was too quick of a turnaround. He needed to heal up a little bit more, and Hirora got the tremendous upset in that one. He trains at a good gym as well in Japanese Top Team, and has actually done camps with the Asakura brothers at Syndicate as well in the United States, and has actually trained and took advantage of UFC PI amenities as well. So he has been getting better. He's only 26 years of age, and he's going up against, the Japanese legend that is Tokoro, who's 46 years of age on a 3-fight losing streak, 35, 33-2, only 1-4 in his last 5 fights. Look, he's an incredible grappler with, a few knockouts on his resume as well. 5 KO TKOs, 21 submissions, 9 decisions. But man, he's just been taking too much damage as of late. 14 KO losses, and a lot of them have come recently, which a lot of these Japanese fighters fight way too long, just because a lot of the Japanese fans don't really care about losses either, as long as you put up a honorable performance. The guy's fought in everywhere. He's fought in K1, he's fought in Dream, Rizin, Bellator. Yeah, I do not like this matchup for him. Now, could he swipe a submission in this one? Absolutely. But I am going with the, again, under 500 record, but improving Hirora Kondo for this one. Kondo's actually a decent-sized favorite at minus 225, so I don't know what the odds are on a submission victory for Tokoro, but I imagine it is plus money, and if you guys are betting on this card, that might be a good option. It's pretty close. He's plus 165, so he's not a bad underdog, but if you are going to pick Tokoro to win, you might as well smash the submission as well, because that will be his path to victory against Hirora. Again, very good submission artist is Tokoro, but way past his prime. Kondo's not great, but he's younger. He is becoming more and more well-rounded. Funny tidbit here, which I learned on the We Are Rising podcast. Kondo was 2 when Tokoro debuted in MMA. That's how big of an age difference there is. A 20-year age difference. My goodness. But yeah, I think he had a good camp too. Like I said, training at Syndicate every now and then in the United States is good. You're going to get some good training partners there. It was a great performance against Joe Arai, despite the asterisk that Joe Arai did have a quick turnaround. And Joe Arai was on a hell of a streak going into that fight as well. Joe Arai is 16-10 in mixed martial arts. But what was his streak going into that? Was it 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 fight win streak going into that Kondo fight that was snapped. But again, that freaking fight that he had against Yamauchi in Shuto was an absolute war, and yeah, it was just too quick of a turnaround. I do think Joe Arai will bounce back, but we're talking about Kondo here, and yeah, he's my pick. I'm taking the favorite here, Kondo. What say you?
Yeah, I'm hoping for another Imanari old man classic performance here. Imanari was supposed to lose to Majima in the previous fight. Remember we were talking about that for the Segura knee bout? And Imanari put off the upset submission win over a tough up-and-coming young guy, Majima. So could we see a repeat of that here? Could be a theme of Rising? Is that the old man fighter gets one last sensational victory? And, you know, like you were saying, he's a submission specialist, an excellent grappler. So would he be able to get one more submission finish, one more excellent grappling performance from the old man here? And, you know, they were saying that this could be his retirement match as well. So if he loses, I'm guessing he's going to, you know, retire. They might give him the 10-bell, the retirement ceremony in the ring. It would make sense before intermission that would happen.
Right.
So that I think that could happen. But I mean, also we got to say Hiroya is, like you were saying, he's one of Mikiru's friends, and he was on the Breaking Down show. Remember, that's Mikiru's YouTube show where he does, like, you know, his little fight show. It does like 1-minute fights and stuff like that with, like,
so good. Man,
it gets millions of views on YouTube and everything like that. So Hiroya is I don't want to say rising star because he's under 500, but I mean he has potential, right? So this is him trying to get a big victory over a big name Japanese legend to try to continue his rise and get back to 500 and just, you know, and continue on his popularity that he's gained from, like, shows like Breaking Down and stuff like that. So I mean, I'm with you. I'm picking him to win as well over the old man, but that's my head pick. My heart pick is for Tokoro to get the old man win, just like Imanari did over a tough young up and comer. So that's my heart pick is Tokoro. But my head pick is Hiroya Kondo. So I hope that happens, but I'm in 100% agreement with Aisha. I think that, you know, Hiroya Kondo is going to be just too much. The youth, just everything, and he's coming off. He's got the momentum on his side as well. Like Aisha was saying, come out that sensational victory against I just hope it's not too bad of a finish for old man Takoya. Tokoro. Sorry, I don't know why I said Takoya. I'm getting Hiroya and Tokoro mixed up. I just hope it's not too bad of a finish for him, and he gets to. And if he does retire, they're going to have a fantastic retirement ceremony, like they always do. The Japanese and Sakakibara-san, they always give fantastic retirement ceremonies. So I'm really looking forward to that if it happens. And if he pulls off the upset win, I still think he should retire off of a sensational upset win, you know, Imanari style. So we'll see how it plays out, but. I definitely disagree with you on one thing, Aisha. I do not think this would be an early intermission. I think you're going to want to stick around to see how this fight plays out, see if he gets the retirement. If he does indeed retire, Tokoro gets the retirement ceremony that only the Japanese, like they do with the pageantry and everything. And then for the beginning of intermission, we're going to get some announcements from Sakakibara-san. Bar Goat, as I like to call him, is one of the GOAT promoters, if not the GOAT promoter. I can't wait to see what those announcements are going to be. Is it going to be for more events? Is it going to be for announcing an international event? Is going to be, and we'll talk about what another possibility when we get to the Pacquiao fight later. But just so many intriguing things that could happen. So definitely stick around, at least for the beginning of intermission, and then you'll get your snacks, take a bathroom break, and stuff like that.
Absolutely. All right. Right after intermission, what a banger of a fight. Where if Manny Pacquiao wasn't on this card, this would be the co-main event of the evening. We have Hiromasa Ogikubo against Makoto Shinryu, or as you coined it...
Yes, I was saying the battle between the Kyoji victims.
Yeah, the Kyoji victims. Rising star Makoto Shinryu against the veteran Ogikubo. Veteran from The Ultimate Fighter in the UFC, as well as Ogikubo was a finalist on that show. In the, what was it? It was the season where champions from other promotions, where he was the deep champion at that time, came over to compete to try to fight Demetrius Johnson, of course. Demetrius Johnson, who cleaned up the division and ran out of fighters. And that was actually the debut of Brandon Moreno to UFC fans as well. Pantoja was on that season. Man, there were some great fighters on that season. And Ogikubo, or Mini Saku, as Dana White said, as he looked at him and went, "Dude, you look exactly like Sakuraba." But anyways, let's get to running this one down. How do you see this one playing out, and what is your prediction for this one?
This is one of the, like you're saying, Aisha, one of the bangers of the night. I mean, both these guys, high-level fighters. Just because I was calling them Kyoji victims, don't get it twisted. These guys are excellent, excellent fighters. If Rizin had a ranking system, these guys would both be top 5 in the flyweight division. They are both title contenders. And just like you were saying, OG Kubo, UFC experience, the Ultimate Fighter runner-up. I mean, just with and those names that were in that tough Ultimate Fighter season, like Aisha was saying, former champions and everything. I mean, to be a finalist.
Yeah, he beat Pantoja. He beat Pantoja in 2016.
Exactly. Beat a former UFC champion, or the current UFC champion, beat him, and just was a finalist in that season full of UFC champions just an incredible fighter, OG Kubo. And he's coming off of a win versus John Dodson. He played spoiler to Dodson get a title shot against Kyoji. So he is, and he put, he in his fights against Kyoji, they were decision losses, right?
Yep.
So he's an excellent fighter, and he's going up against a young gun here, a young rising gun, Makoto Shinryu. And Shinryu, he's coming off of losing to Kyoji Horiguchi, but he's still a young, hungry fighter, and he wants to get back into that title fight with Kyoji. So and so does OG Kubo. OG Kubo, he wants to get another crack at Kyoji as well, get another crack at the title. That's why he fought so hard against Dodson and played spoiler on that, on Dodson's run to the title. So just both these guys, title contenders, high level flyweights, endless gas tanks, just all action fighters. This is really one of the bangers of the night here. And I'm really looking forward to seeing the veteran versus the young gun up and comer. And just it's got fireworks written all over it. This one has, like Aisha was saying, if not for the other fights on this card that was the main and co-main event, this could be a headliner or a co-headliner. I mean, it's really that good. It could be a number one. And I was guessing, I heard that Sakaki Barasan said that it was for a number one contendership fight. I don't know if it's for the next title shot or if he's just saying that the guy, whoever wins this, is in the contenders, mix. You know what I mean?
They're each going to have to get one more win after this if they want that title shot again, in my opinion.
100% agreed. I even think that they should take these guys at all the flyweights and throw them in a flyweight Grand Prix. You know me.
Yes, I love it.
The Grand Prix. And the flyweight division is one of their most stacked divisions, along with featherweight and bantamweight. The lighter weight divisions are just absolutely stacked and rising. So the flyweight would be a perfect division for a Grand Prix. And just
especially if you can bring over some KSW guys and Road FC guys and just have a full, maybe even Bellator too, and just have a full-on international Grand Prix.
Oh, that'd be so sensational. Take all my money. Just take it all right now. I'll pay all the money. I'll take a subscription service to Rizin.tv as well. That would just be
maybe even like Octagon or Alash Pride out of Kazakhstan. You invite some of those guys in there too. Like, why not?
Absolutely. They're signing sensational fighters from that region.
Yep.
Right.
Kyrgyzstanis, Kazakhstanis as well. Yep. Right out of Alash Pride and Octagon. Which, by the way, Octagon with the C, tremendous promotion as well, guys. If you're a fan of violence like Rizin, go check out Octagon with the C. They don't have the superior rule set, but you won't see necessarily a grounded knee knockout, but you'll see a flying knee knockout in every show. It's guaranteed.
Yeah. It's sensational promotions that are up and coming in the Eurasia, area of the world. And just, like you're saying with KSW, the collaboration, why not, also expand that to Octagon as well. Big time. They sell out arenas, right?
Yep.
They have big time arenas, just like the Epic Rizin. For this show right here, Super Rizin 3, they're going to be selling 40,000 plus for the Saitama Super Arena. It's stadium level. And also what gives the Epic Rizin the X factor is that they are able to sell a lot of pay-per-views at $50, the equivalent of $50 American, each pay-per-view buy. So that, for that reason, monetarily, others have said this as well. John Nash of formerly Bloody Elbow, he said this as well. But the Epic Rizin Fighting Federation is arguably the number 2 promotion in the world behind UFC monetarily. Now, they don't have all the heavier divisions filled out yet. They're more like a WEC right now, with the lighter weight divisions are absolutely stacked, and they're working on building heavier divisions. But monetarily, they're arguably number 2. And they're partnering with the other top 5 promotions like KSW.
Yep.
Hopefully they're going to do with Octagon as well. Like you're saying, Aisha, I think it's a great idea. They already are signing guys from that region, so that is a fantastic idea right there. I would love to see. And what you're saying about making an international Grand Prix, that would just be absolutely sensational. Just take all my money right now. Take my subscription, purchase everything. I just would love that so much. And these two guys right here, Oji Kubo and Shinryu, prime candidates to be put into that flyweight Grand Prix. And they're like we're saying, I mean, this is going to be an action-packed fight. Both these guys in this gas tank. It's the gritty veteran versus the young gun up-and-comer. Both wanting to get another crack at Kyoji Horiguchi for the flyweight title. Both looking to bring it. I'm expecting all action in this one. And, my head is picking the veteran here. My head's picking Oji Kubo, but my heart is picking Shinryu. I want Shinryu to get the victory here and to work his way back up to get another shot at Kyoji Horiguchi. I just think that Shinryu is just – he's got so much promise and he's a fantastic young gun fighter. And I just can't wait to see how this fight's going to play out. This was one of the bangers of the night. Like you were saying, Aisha, could be a co-headline easily on any other card, if not for, the sensational names on the Super Rising 3 card here.
Absolutely. So I'm on the other side. I'm picking actually Shinryu to win, and he is actually the favorite. Minus 205. He's the favorite, so I'm picking him to win. And this is why. So both are very good grapplers. Ogi Kubo is more of a wrestling base, and no disrespect, but like he beat John Dobson by freaking wet blanketing him, right? He's not going to be able to just lay on Shinryu because he's such a crafty jiu-jitsu guy from the bottom, way more explosive, way more scrambly. So it's more of like the better wrestler versus the better jiu-jitsu guy. And I think with how much stronger Shinryu is developing and has become, I do think that the better pace that he will set on Ogi Kubo will be the factor here. He's a better finisher, although Ogi Kubo doesn't get finished often. Even his last 3 losses to Archuleta, Horiguchi, and Dasucho Kim, they've been by decision. He's very durable, but Shinryu is just constantly attacking and looking for that finish, whether it's on the ground or, quite recently, polishing up his striking and his blitzing ability and his combos to either set up the takedowns or just straight up jumping on your back to get the finish has been a lot better. So I think he's the better striker, as well as it's come a long way in the last few years. I like how there's a little bit of a storyline between them, as there was a falling out as Shinryu used to train at Ogi Kubo's gym. Shinryu is the former Deep and Cage Fury FC champion. Yeah, Shinryu, I think, will be able to escape some of the scram and out-scramble Ogi Kubo if Ogi Kubo does employ that same style that he employed on John Dodson. Because what has been John Dodson's kryptonite? Wrestlers who lay on him. In most of his losses, that's how John Dodson loses, right? Where I think Shinryu won't succumb to the as easy. Now, Ogi Kubo 26-8-2 as a pro, 2-3 in his last 5 fights. Shinryu 17-2-1 as a pro, 3-1-1 no contest due to the accidental eye poke against Horiguchi, which they had their rematch, and Horiguchi was able to submit him in the second round. I'm giving the edge to the young gun here. I think this goes the distance, or Ogi Kubo zigs when he should zag, and Shinryu maybe locks up a choke, or maybe a grounded knee, or, again, he's just a little bit more explosive and stronger at this stage in his career than Ogi Kubo, and I think that's reflecting in the betting odds.
I hope you're right. Because I really want Shinryu to win and to establish himself as a really, he's on the rise. He's looking to get back to facing Kyoji again. And I just hope you're right. I hope you're right. I'm just worried about Ogi Kubo's veteran experience. Like you said, he's got a win over the UFC champion and he was a tough finalist in a year where there was just incredible names in that tough season that just, it shows you how good of a fighter he is. So I just can't count out the veteran. That's why I'm picking him for my head pick. But my heart pick is definitely with you, Aisha, on Shinryu, the young gun, getting this done.
Yeah, I mean, hey, plus 165 and to go the distance, that's not a bad bet either. All right. featured fight of the night, we have Yuta Kubo against Yutaka Saito. Now, Yutaka Saito, very good run and rise and very good MMA career. He is getting up there in age and does have a lot of MMA miles on his body, which you can argue is maybe worse than having a lot of kickboxing miles on your body like Yuta Kubo has. Both of them are 36. Yutaka Saito, 21-8-2, but only 1-4 in his last 5 fights. But his last fight, he actually looked pretty good against Kleber before he got submitted. And then, what was it? Yeah, 2 decision and 1 doctor stoppage losses before that. But again, impressed me in the beginning of the fight against Kleber until Kleber finally got, the finish as Kleber Quique Earps does. Yuta Kubo, 4-1 in his last 5 fights, and he's 4-1 as a pro in mixed martial arts after a long kickboxing career. I honestly think he did not deserve his last win. I think that was an absolute robbery in my humble opinion. I think Takahashi clearly won that fight, but they had to give it to their rising star Kubo. I don't know. That one rubbed me the wrong way. That one left a poor taste in my mouth, but he has improved quite a bit in grappling. He has improved quite a bit in his takedown defense. Is it enough to go up against Saito? Well, we'll see just how good Saito still is at this stage of his career against a kickboxing crossover who is getting better at MMA, but in my opinion is far from the level of guys like Kleber, far from the level of guys like Ushiku, far from the level of guys like Mikuru at this point. And Saito's last win was a dominant win against Ren Hiramoto. I hate how that was a split decision win as well. Again, that was just, Ryzen trying to protect one of their rising stars there in Ren Hiramoto. Just like how they gave Kubo the win there. I'm glad they didn't give the win to Ren in that one because Saito was the rightful winner in that one. Saito is the favorite at minus 250. And if this stays on the feet, if Kubo has really drilled his takedown defense and keep this on the feet, I do think he'll get the better of Saito in the striking department and maybe squeeze out a decision win, because I don't see Kubo knocking out Saito, despite Saito, like I said, having a lot of miles on his body. He only has 1 KO loss in his entire career. 5 KO TKO wins, 2 submissions, and 14 decisions. So I do see this going to a decision. I do see Saito continuing to grind out the victory here, continuing to shoot for takedowns, continuing to punish Kubo up against the ropes, short elbows, short shots, getting those underhooks in, dragging him to the ground, and whether Kubo gets back up to his feet or not, it's going to be more of a grueling victory, in my opinion, for Yuta Saito. Honestly, if he wants to secure the win, he's going to have to primarily make this a boring fight. I don't think he should risk it on the feet for another potential split robbery loss to Kubo, because if this stays on the feet primarily and Kubo goes tit for tat for him, goes back and forth with the striking, even if we, as the Ryzen fan community, as MMA fans, clearly see that, okay, Saito did enough there, but it wasn't like a dominant ground game or control time, I do think Ryzen will try to give it to Kubo again. So, I don't know. This is Kubo's biggest MMA challenge thus far, as Saito has challenged for the belt before. Is it the start of the decline, or is he just very much in the steep decline? Well, if he loses to Kubo quite handedly, then we can say yes. I just don't think he's quite there yet, which is why I'm picking the favorite Saito to win. How are you viewing this one?
Oh, this is a great breakdown. And, also when you talk about the former fights where the decisions, you got to make sure you remember the scoring system in Ryzen.
Oh, I know. And I'm taking that into account.
It's not round by round. But that's also going to factor in when we talk about the main event, because they're doing a different scoring system for that. So we'll talk about that when it gets to that one. But I actually agree with you. I think Kubo, he shouldn't have won his most recent fight. I thought that was a wrong decision for him, but it doesn't matter. It's very subjective when it comes to the fight as a whole. So but I'm glad you came around about the Striker Queen Reina and Yuri Shim fight being, that was the correct decision, which I believe it was.
It was a close fight, but yes, that was, I will concede that was the right decision. In the moment, I was screaming bloody murder, though.
Yeah, I remember. But on this one, I agree with you 100%. I think it was a wrong decision for Kubo, but, you know, Kubo did have an argument to win that one as well, you know, with the stronger strikes or how, you know, whatever you want to say. So I don't think it was a complete robbery. But anyways, getting back to this fight right here, this one is by far Kubo's biggest fight of his entire mixed martial arts career. Yutaka Saito was a former champion. You know, he knows the assignment. He knows the assignment. He has one of the most sensational grounded strikes knockout that we've seen in Rizin so far. Go look it up. It was. I mean, it had grounded knees, everything. It was fantastic. But you know what? Kubo, he knows the assignment as well. He actually has a 12-6 elbow TKO in his repertoire as well. And speaking of 12-6 elbows, Aisha, do you have that horn ready? Did you see that the ABC Commission just recently legalized 12-6 elbows in America? Can you get that horn sound? Can you get the horn sound for that? But I just want to say how incredible, amazing that is, that the athletic commissions here in America have legalized 12-6 elbows now. That is the first domino before, you know, next is going to be grounded knees. And after grounded knees, is going to be grounded kicks and grounded stomps.
They've adjusted the grounded knees rule, though. You can't just put your hand down anymore.
Yes, they're gradually going to be, you know, it was in addition to the 12-6 elbows, they adjusted the quote-unquote grounded fighter rule for over here in America. And I'm telling you, it's the first domino. The next thing that's going to be legalized is full-on grounded knees, you know, and think about, you know, as much crap as we give one championship, they have gotten grounded knees legalized in 2 American states right now.
Yep.
In Colorado and Alabama, right? Or no, not Alabama, excuse me, Georgia, right? So that's already 2 states that allow grounded knees, and now 12-6 elbows have been legalized. I mean, it is incredibly exciting times right now, you guys. Aisha, it is incredibly exciting times right now. The first dominoes fall. It's going to be grounded knees legalized across the United States next, in thanks part to one championship getting legalized in 2 states. And then after that, it'll be grounded kicks. And after that, it'll be full-on flying stomps. And we'll have the full superior rule set that'll be legalized in America soon, coming soon. And that's why, you know, I really thank you and everybody else that is going to continue to not call them soccer kicks anymore. It's grounded kicks to help this legalization effort. So, and now to get back to the fight, Yuta Kubo, he has a 12-6 elbow TKO in his repertoire. So he knows the assignment. Even though he's a kickboxing crossover, he knows the assignment. Yutaka Saito, former champion, has a superior rule set finish in his repertoire as well. But he has fallen off recently, right? He's on a losing streak. So this is, to me, this fight right here is really for, you know, it's Kubo's to, I mean, honestly, Saito has way more experience in grappling, everything, all-around fighter, former champion. So this is really a tough test for Kubo. But to me, this is them. If Kubo wins here, he's going to be in the mix for the title shot. And what weight class is this at again? Is this 145? Yes, it is. This is a featherweight. So they are one. If Kubo wins, he is going to be in the mix to fight Chihiro Suzuki coming up later on down the line. So, I mean, that would be – and Kubo is a huge name in Japan as well, not only because he's a kickboxing champion, but also his wife, Sarah, is like a Japanese like celebrity, like singer, model, all that type of stuff. So I'm expecting his walkout excuse me, I'm expecting his walkout to also be sensational, like, and give Yaman a run for his money on the walkouts. So it's going to be – I mean, this fight – that's why it's so high up on the card. It's an opportunity for Kubo here to establish himself as in the mix for contenders for to fight against Chihiro Suzuki for the featherweight title in Rizin. And on the other side, Yutaka Saito, is to show that he is not he's not done or washed or however you want to say it. He's still got it. He's still going to be in the mix, former champion. So it's going to be a really, really interesting card, a really interesting fight on an incredible card. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how this plays out. I'm really looking forward to seeing if Kubo has the grappling and takedown defense to keep it on the feet. Because if he does, I think he can win. And I don't think it'll be any kind of robbery or nothing like that. I believe he has a better striking than Saito because he, coming from the kickboxing background, he's got to have as Joe Rogan likes to say, he's K1 level, right, on his striking. So he's a K1 level striker. He should be able to outstrike Saito on the feet. It just depends on if he has the grappling to keep it on the feet. So I'm really excited to see this one from the walkouts on to the fight, to see how this one plays out. It's going to be awesome. That's why it's so high up on the card.
Absolutely. And, I mean, you said it. Kubo hit the jackpot with his wife, because it's not like, let's just say, with all due respect, he doesn't look like a Makoto Shinryu or the Asakura brothers. He's kind of a funny-looking guy. Anyways, all right, we got two more to get through here. Let's fire through them. Manny Pacquiao against Rukia Anpo. Now, Anpo filling in relatively short notice as well. I think it was like 3 weeks ago. He threw his name into the hat to fill in for Chihiro Suzuki, as Chihiro Suzuki hurt his hand in a freaking exhibition kickboxing match, unfortunately. And you know, it's interesting because I was really hoping that Ampo would have his rematch with Buakaw in kickboxing in the Rizin ring. Now, that may still happen, knock on wood, on the New Year's Eve show, which would be amazing because they have fought before in kickboxing. Buakaw got the win, and Buakaw even called Anpo out in his last win over Kimura, saying that, you know, I would love to have the rematch with you here in Japan. So that is potentially still on the table, but good on Anpo for throwing his name in the hat for this one. He is going to be fighting Manny Pacquiao, and I'm sure Rizin was like, yes, we will take you because we've been trying to get Manny Pacquiao to fight in this promotion for like 5 years now, and we're not going to let, you know, Suzuki getting hurt, you know, spoil that at all. So they're taking care of Anpo for this one. They did warn him, though, if you throw a kick, you know, that you're going to get fined 5,000 USD. So Anpo's got to be careful there. I mean, man, it's like the Floyd Mayweather fights in Rizin. It's a 3-round, 3-minute boxing fight here. And Manny Pacquiao's going to win. He's the minus 1,600 favorite. Now, I know Anpo is quite a bit taller than him. I believe Anpo's got like 3 or 4 inches of height on Manny Pacquiao here. Yeah, he's 5'11", while Pac-Man is 5'5". But Anpo's never fought professional boxing or even an amateur boxing match in his life. Like, he is a pure kickboxer, and well, in his one MMA fight, he got absolutely destroyed as well. But yeah, short notice, never boxed before. Ampo's way taller, but still very much a kickboxer. He got beaten up in a boxing sparring session with Sean Strickland recently. I don't know if you saw that footage. Strickland beat the shit out of him, dude, and I kind of felt bad for Ampo on that one. But Ampo, I mean, he's a tough motherfucker. Props to him for training with Strickland, and Strickland gave him props too, as Strickland goes, you know, 100 in all of his training sessions. Like I said, I'm hoping that Rizin rewards Ampo with that Buakaw fight on New Year's Eve, or maybe even before that. But regardless, Manny's hands, as I saw in the open workout, are still quick. He still has lightning speed. He's one of the legends in the sport of boxing, and despite him being 45 years of age, in only a 3-minute, 3-round fight, dude, he's going to beat Ampo here. He's going to beat Ampo here despite his age. I think possibly even TKO due to body shots. Because Ampo's so much bigger than him and longer than him and has that bigger torso, I think Manny is just going to like go like pow, 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 like 4 shots to the body, force Ampo to put his arms down, and then probably crack him with a hook or something there. I think he's going to unload on the body, and either an easy 3-round decision or maybe a 3rd or 2nd round TKO is my prediction. How do you see this one playing out?
Exactly the same way. I mean, this is, you know, a showcase fight for Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao, finally stepping in the epic Rizin ring. Big ups to Ampo for stepping up. He is a kickboxing, you know, guy crossover, and so he's and he's bigger, like you were saying. But I mean, Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao is the most exciting offensive boxer of recent generation, right? So he's an incredible boxer. I'm really excited to see him in the Rizin ring. And there's more layers to this than just the fight itself. I mean, like we were talking about earlier, about the announcements. Could this lead to an international show for Rizin in the Philippines? Because this is going to be broadcast in the Philippines, like all of Manny Pacquiao's previous bouts, even though it's exhibition. It's going to be, and the Philippines are excited for it, right? Manny Pacquiao is stepping back in the ring.
Yeah, he's their hero.
Yeah, exactly. He's their hero for a foreign senator, politician there, everything. So he's huge in the Philippines. And this is like his warm-up fight. He's going to have a professional boxing match later on this year. I forget the guy's name that he's fighting against. But anyways, this is like the warm-up to get back into the boxing ring for him. So, of course, all the Philippines is pumped for this. And could this be leading to a Rizin Philippines show or a Rizin Southeast Asia show somewhere, right? I'm just wondering, speculating on that. But because Rizin is going to be doing international shows, but could that be what this is leading to with Manny Pacquiao? And also, Manny is not going to be just a one-off for Rizin. Remember, when Floyd Mayweather, when he was fighting, doing exhibitions for Rizin, he did more than one. So this could be more than one for Manny, and I could easily see it for his next one being in the Rizin Philippines for just an absolutely massive show there. If they're doing an international event there with Manny Pacquiao headlining, it'd just be incredibly massive. And like you said earlier, Aisha, Ryan Garcia is going to be ringside for this. What is that about? What is that? Is that going to be a setup for the next exhibition? Could it be Manny versus Ryan for the next exhibition bout? Could that be the headliner for Rizin Philippines if that happens? So many cool questions here. Is Ryan Garcia going to be fighting for Rizin, doing exhibitions while he's awaiting his suspension in the America? And I mean, what's he going to say on the mic? Are they going to let him speak? What's going to be happening? Is Manny Pacquiao going to call out Ryan Garcia? Is he going to say something about him for his recent shenanigans, all that? What's Ryan Garcia going to say? Is he going to get on the mic and say Jesus is king? Of course he will. That's what he is always says. Is he going to say something else that's even more controversial on the mic? So many cool questions could happen from this fight and afterwards. Well,
is he going to call out an MMA fighter because he has teased wanting to fight in MMA?
Exactly. Is he going to do an exhibition in mixed martial arts or boxing for Rizin while he's serving this, year-long suspension or whatever it is in America? What is going to happen? We don't know. I cannot wait to find out with y'all. It's going to be awesome. And getting back to this fight, it's going to be, the odds makers it's 1,600, minus 600 for a reason.
It's minus 2,000 now, by the way. I just refreshed it.
So
during this recording, it's gone up. Yeah.
Oh my God. That's because everybody knows Manny Pacquiao is one of the most exciting offensive boxers we've ever seen. And he's just, even though he's outsized in this fight, he's going to, like you're saying, Aisha, going to go to the body, possibly open up the head for a TKO, even though it's only 3 rounds. I just don't see any way that Manny can lose this fight. And, it's unfortunate that Chihiro got hurt. That's who he was supposed to face first, right? The first fight before. That's why Chihiro was taking that exhibition boxing match against Takanori Gomi. That was sort of his warm-up to get him into boxing mode to fight Pac-Man. And unfortunately, he hurt his hand against Gomi. That's why he had to pull out of this one.
I can't believe it, dude. I was like, are you kidding me? And it went to decision. Like, it was like, come on. Because he was hype. He was like, I'm going to knock out my mentor and Gomi. Which is kind of weird. And it must just be like a cultural thing in Japan, too. Like, in North America, that wouldn't happen, right? But, like, Gomi's the one who got him into MMA and is his grappling coach. And he's like, yeah, I'm just going to go beat the fuck out of him and knock him out. I was like, what?
I mean, they love that of the teacher versus the student in Japan. You know what I mean? So that's probably where that was from. And,
no, totally.
And like I was saying, it was supposed to be like a warm-up fight for the Pac-Man fight, right? That was to get him into boxing mode so he come take on Pac-Man. Because I think they were trying to get it to where, Chihiro, just like he did with Patricio Pound Pitbull, I think they wanted Chihiro to score the shocking upset and if not, knock out Manny Pac-Man to get a decision victory over him, right? Or at least a draw, right? So, that's why I think they did the Chihiro versus Gomi, boxing match to get a warm-up in, to get him, in that boxing mode. But, at the same time, it saves it from, what if, he wasn't able to do well against Manny? What if Manny just went in there and absolutely embarrassed him? Kind of like when Floyd and Tenshin fought, right? Floyd is absolutely just, I mean, he made tension cry in the ring, right?
It was hard to watch.
Exactly. So, and that took some shine off of tension, but at the same time, it didn't hurt tension at all because they went on to do the match afterwards with Takeru, arguably one of the biggest combat sports events in Japan history.
And he's doing actually pretty good in boxing now. He's come a long way since then. He's come a long way. Won his last fight in Japan just a couple weeks ago.
Right, exactly. So it didn't hurt him in the long run, but in the short term, it did hurt his image, seeing him crying in the ring, all that stuff. So we avoided that.
In fairness, the Japanese cry in victory or defeat.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't think Chihiro would have cried or anything.
No,
if he had lost,
he's a little different. He's a little different, but
he's built different. I mean, he's a tough fighter. He's a great fighter, totally worthy champion. But this saved him from getting embarrassed by Pac-Man, and now he's going to go into hopefully the New Year's Eve matchup with Patricio Pound Pitbull, 100%. And not having any shine taken off of him from loss to Manny Pac-Man. So I also was seeing fans online saying they like this bout more than Chihiro. They like the bout with Ampo more than Chihiro because Ampo is bigger, taller. So it's going to be, Chihiro. In fairness to Chihiro, he was bigger than Pac-Man as well, but
not by much. Yeah, Ampo's way lankier. Exactly.
So this is going to be perceived as like a bigger challenge for Pac-Man, possibly because of the height differential and the weight differential. And, Chihiro was also a kickboxing crossover. He actually does both right now. He's a kickboxing champ and a mixed martial arts champ. So Ampo is also a kickboxing crossover. So it's like, it was a good save. It was a great save by Sakakibara-san and Co. to bring in Ampo, and the fans liked and responded to it. But still, it's going to be a Manny Pac-Man just demolition here, and I just can't wait to see what's going to set up next. Is it going to be Ryan Garcia? Is it going to be Ryzen Philippines? Is it going to be what they were talking about previously? Could it be, Aisha? Could it be Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather
in Japan? Yeah.
Could it be the rematch of the biggest fight of all time, pay-per-view wise? Could that be what they're building up to here? Could it be? We don't know. We're going to find out. It's going to be. I just can't wait to see how it plays out, how it goes down. And I can't wait to hear the numbers afterwards. I mean, is the Philippines the whole country's probably going to tune into this. What about the rest of Southeast Asia? Is there going to be fantastic numbers for this? Is it going to, they already sold out the arena, 40,000 plus fans at the highest ticket prices that they've ever had for Ryzen. And what about the pay-per-view numbers? Is it going to beat the match's pay-per-view numbers? The match scored over 500,000 pay-per-view buys. Could this match or beat that number? It's for the match was the biggest kickboxing fight for Japanese combat sports in this modern new era. Could this event, Super Ryzen 3, we're going to get to the main event next. Could this be the biggest fight in Japanese mixed martial for the new era? In Japanese mixed martial arts history? There's a very good possibility of that. I think we should transition to the main event right now on that point. What do you think, Aisha?
Yeah, let's do it. We got Mikuru Asakura against Ren Hiramoto, two absolute stars in Japan. And again, for those from North America watching this right now and looking them up, like, record aside, these guys are absolute superstars. We were talking about the Asakura Brothers League breaking down and how that does millions and millions and millions of views. Dude, Asakura's YouTube channel, his own YouTube channel, millions and millions of views. People are obsessed with both Kai and Mikuru. And Ren Hiramoto, after having a tremendous kickboxing career, despite him only being 3-3 in mixed martial arts, he is one of the biggest draws. And the reason that a lot of my J-Kick friends even watch MMA was because of Ren Hiramoto making that transition. So from like a cultural point of view, from a celebrity point of view, and through a fighting point of view, this is one of the biggest fights in Japan. Mikuru Asakura, not as good as Kai, and I think everybody knows that. 17-4 as a pro. Still a very good mixed martial artist. 3-2 in his last 5 fights. He did lose his last fight. to Vugar Karamov, but like no shame in that. No shame in that at all. And if you look at his last 3 losses in mixed martial arts, Karamov, Kleber, and Saito. Like 3 really, really good fighters. And his loss to Saito was in 2020 before Saito started to have his decline. Losing to Karamov, no shame in that. And Kleber, I mean, well, he submits everybody. So, I mean, it is what it is there, right? Other than that, he's continued to beat really good opponents. He actually got the rematch against Saito and beat him in 2021. He fought Ushiku and beat him as well. So, like, Mikuru Asakura is awesome. Now, he's getting towards the end of his career here, despite him only being 32 years of age, as he's had a long career in both kickboxing and mostly MMA, and he's really focusing on his promotion, which we've talked about already, is absolutely crushing it. Go check out Mikuru Asakura's YouTube channel. That's where he actually hosts a lot of those fights, especially highlights of the fights, and the link to the pay-per-views there as well. Ren Hiramoto, though I haven't been super impressed with him in mixed martial arts yet, there's no doubt that his striking is elite, as he was a K1 star, K1 and Crush star, and he even fought back in Bellator kickboxing as well in like one of their few shows, which was cool to see. And they've had a little bit of a back and forth rivalry. I mean, Asakura, one of the most beloved Japanese fighters. Hiramoto, though he's beloved, he's the bad boy of Rizin. He's the bad boy of kickboxing, covered head to toe in tattoos, goes against the grain. People either love him or they love to hate on him in Japan, which is why this as the headline is huge. As far as the breakdown of how the fight goes, Jay Wolf, I'm going with Mikuru Asakura. He is the favorite, just obviously, because he is the more accomplished MMA fighter. He actually has way better of a grappling skill set than that of Hiramoto. But Hiramoto has been traveling the world, in the United States as well, working on his mixed martial arts, right? And he's even been training with the Pettis brothers as well. Now, I don't think he flew to Wisconsin, my neighboring state, to train with them there, but he did bring in Sergio and Anthony to train with him even before Sergio's fight in Japan as well, to learn more grappling. So, and he's bringing in a lot of UFC fighters, North American high-level fighters as well. And I even heard rumors that he wants to train with Patchy Mix next as well, to further polish his ground game. And Patchy Mix is one of, if not the best fighter outside of the UFC right now. This is an interesting fight, as it's going to be for the equivalent of what the BMF is in the UFC. This is, what's the name of that belt? What are they fighting for?
Last man standing belt. I mean, that's the equivalent for the BMF belt in Rizin.
And honestly, that's way less of a gimmicky name, and I like that. I like it. It's a beautiful belt, by the way. And this will be, if I'm not mistaken, the first 5-round MMA fight in Rizin history, and it's not going to be judged as a whole. Now, they're going to have the superior rule set, but it is going to be the 10-point must system. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Despite those rules, I do think Mikuru is going to win. Way better MMA fighter overall, well-roundedness, and in my opinion, it's not even close. But we'll see how much Ren has improved, given that he's still so young. He's only 26 years of age. And honestly, Asakura's only really been dominated by grapplers. Now, does that mean that this will stay on the feet and Hiramoto might try to expose the striking of Mikuru? He might, but I think Mikuru is probably going to be like, well, I don't have to fear anybody on the ground here. I'm just going to take this kid to the ground and just beat him up with elbows, beat him up with knees, and just really continue to expose his lack of a ground game. So I do think Mikuru Asakura's path to victory is employing grappling or just MMA clinch work up against the ropes or in the corner, get those underhooks in, break off with the elbows, etc. Ren Hiramoto's never finished anyone in MMA yet. Right? He's never finished anyone in MMA yet, whereas Mikuru Asakura does have 8 KO TKOs. He's never been knocked out. His only 4 losses have been 2 by submission and 2 by decision. So, with all that being said, I just think he's fought way better MMA guys. in the top of the division, and I think that's why Asakura is going to win this. But it is 5 rounds. It is 10-point must system. And, Hiramoto Ren has fought 5 rounds in kickboxing, which is obviously a little different, and under a 10-point must system in kickboxing. So maybe that plays to his favor. What say you on this main event before we wrap up?
Man, I absolutely love this main event. They've been, like you were saying, fantastic breakdown, first of all, Aisha. Just absolutely fantastic. Like always. I mean, you just do an amazing job.
I take way too many notes for this show, as you can see.
I love it. I love it. And I love how passionate you are about the Epic Rising. My favorite promotion. This has been an absolute pleasure doing this show with you, my friend, and just great job. I just want to first put that out there.
Thanks, buddy. And
I agree with you 100% on this fight. And just let me add a little bit more to it from all the stuff that you were saying. This has been building for years. Ever since Ren and Mikuru first started fighting in Rizin, they've been building to this super fight. Aisha is not joking when he says these are 2 of the biggest superstars in Rizin. They are literally probably the 2 biggest superstars right now, the 2 biggest Japanese names, biggest superstars in Rizin right now. I mean, we cannot understate that enough about how big of a stars these. I mean, they're superstars, literally. That's why they're on Super Rizin 3, headlining Super Rizin 3. They're the reason, more so than Pac-Man, any of the other big Japanese names that are on this card. They're the reason why this event has sold out over 40,000 fans already in the Saitama Super Arena, over at the most expensive ticket prices that have been for Rizin yet, and it's probably going to get over 500,000 pay-per-view buys at $50 USD each pay-per-view buy. So it's just these guys right here are the main event of Super Rizin 3 because they are superstars in Japan. That's just. I mean, they're just we can't overstate that enough. I mean, they're huge in Japan. And Mikuru Asakura, he's part of the Asakura Action Bros, as I like to say. His brother Kai just got signed to the UFC, gonna make his debut soon. They're both massive superstars. Like Aisha was saying about the YouTube channel with Mikuru. That's why he's only he's only 32, and he's possibly gonna be done fighting here the next couple of times because he's just doing making too much money on YouTube with breaking down his promotion and everything. So he doesn't really need to fight anymore. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just, we can't understand this enough. These are 2 and Ren Hiramoto, like Aisha was saying about his J-Kick fans that are watching just because of him. If you watch the like the Rising Confessions series, fantastic behind the scenes shows that they do. And now, by the way, they now have it to where they're doing translations in multiple languages.
It's so awesome.
How cool is that? How cool is that? I mean, just and you can see the fans absolutely love Ren Hiramoto. He has little kids coming up to him asking for autographs and stuff like that. Just he's incredibly superstar, and this fight is so big. The Epic Rising is pulling out all the stops for this fight. They're even bringing in ringside commentary again. Remember how long we've been asking them to do that ever since the pandemic shut down ringside commentary and everything? It's coming back.
No more Zoom.
Michael Schiavello, the voice that he does the King K1 kickboxing right now, and he's done. You should remember him from HD Net and all those promotions. He's the Good Night Irene guy. Every time someone gets knocked out, right? That's him. That's Michael Schiavello, the voice.
Yeah, Schiavello. He's not going to K1 Italy. He's coming to Rizin.
Exactly. Yeah. He does King K1 in like Japan shows, and he was gonna do King K1 Italy, but he's doing Rizin instead right now, right? So they're bringing him in, a big time commentator, and they're gonna have him be ringside. So no more Zoom. The audio is gonna be awesome on Rizin.tv. And as we saw from the previous event, the video is HD. So I mean, they're pulling all the stops for this. And like you were saying, Aisha, the main event, they're doing the first ever 5 rounds for the main event. They're making it for the last man standing title, which is the Rizin version of the BMF title in UFC. And like you were saying, Aisha, I don't know if it's 10-point must system for each round or if they're doing the scoring each round as a whole, but it's going to be round by round scoring. So they're going to take each individual round, and whoever wins that round is, they're I don't know if it's 10-point must. I don't know if they're gonna do like 10-8 rounds. You know what I mean? If there's one round that's more heavily than damaged than the other round. So I don't know if it's gonna be 10-point must, but it is going round by round. So whatever fighter wins the round is gonna be they're gonna be up rounds. And by the way, speaking of being up rounds, if it goes into the championship rounds in 4th and 5th round, it's going to trigger open scoring, I think, at the end of the 3rd round, if I remember correctly. Nice. So in addition to all this other new stuff, like 5 rounds, judging round by round, there possibly could be open scoring after the 3rd round. So the fighters will know who is behind, who needs to give that extra push to get the victory here. And, the reason that it was called Last Man Standing, Drake Riggs of MMA Mania just had a fantastic interview with Sakaki Barasan, the CEO of Epic Rising, and Michael Schiavello, where Sakaki Barasan, or Bar Goat as I like to call him, he explained what the reasoning was behind calling it Last Man Standing. That's because originally he wanted to do it like Sakuraba and Gracie in the 2000 Grand Prix, where it was just going to be unlimited rounds and fight until there was the last man standing. But they couldn't get that done because they didn't know people were traveling to the event. They didn't want to, so they had to give it a set. That's why they went with 5 rounds. But he said he was open to in the future for future last man standing events with that last man standing belt. He's thinking about making it to where it's going to be unlimited rounds and you actually fight until there's only one man standing. So I just thought that was a really cool tidbit to get in there. And I should, like you were saying, Mikuru, he's got the experience in mixed martial arts. He's fantastic fighter, all around fighter with grappling. So Ren, he's been showing improvement, but he's really going to have to. I mean, I believe it'll start striking, and if Ren is getting the better of Mikuru, he's going to go to grappling, right? And Ren's going to have to prove that he's got grappling to keep it on the feet. And remember, also, you didn't mention this yet, but in Mikuru's most recent fight, it was a standing rules fight with small gloves with Yaman, where Yaman was able to get the TKO victory over him. So that might, I don't know, I don't want to say his chin is cracked, but he is like, Ren might be able to get the KO here if it stays standing. And because Yaman possibly could have cracked the chin of Mikuru in the most recent fight with him. So, and Ren definitely has the power and he has K1 level striking, as Joe Rogan likes to say. So he has the striking and the ability to knock out Mikuru here if he can keep it on the feet. So, I mean, my head is picking Mikuru for all the reasons you're saying, Aisha. More experience in mixed martial arts, better grappler, all that good stuff. But my heart is picking Ren. I want Ren to win. I want him to showcase that he has the grappling to keep it on the feet, has a takedown defense good enough to keep it on the feet, and he has the striking to put Mikuru away. And that would just make his stock just rise, right? He's a rising star already. But, I mean, this would just take him into that superstar stratosphere by knocking out a superstar in Mikuru. But, at the same time, if Mikuru is able to win, then I believe he's not done with fighting. I believe he will come back and defend that last man standing belt. I believe he will fight a couple more times. Even if he loses, I believe he will fight a couple more times. If he loses, I think we could get a trilogy bout out of this. I think Mikuru will be so upset about losing to Ren because, like I said, they have been building into this fight for years. Yeah. This is the culmination of years of hype and build up into this fight right here. It is a true super fight between superstars on Super Rising. I mean, I cannot stress that. It's just a huge fight. So I believe that if Ren wins, we could be looking at a potential trilogy right here. And if Mikuru wins, he could be fighting more, defending that belt and everything. There's so many storylines that could come from this. It's just I can't wait to see what happens and what's next after this bout. I mean, I can't wait to watch with you, and I can't wait to see what comes next. This is a true main event, a true super. I mean, it's just so much fun stuff is happening in the Epic Rising Fighting Federation. And, I'm hoping that since this main event is 5 rounds, that they're going to implement that to future title fights and future main events will be 5 rounds because it's going to be so successful that this one's 5 rounds that'll lead to more. And and possibly the last man standing belt is going to become so successful for them that they're going to implement what Scott Barasan was saying to Drake Riggs on the Broad Horizon podcast of MMA Mania, saying that he's going to go for the Sakuraba Gracie style of unlimited rounds until there really is the last man standing. And just how fun would that be? It just, man, I'm so excited. I mean, just talking about it with you, Aisha, I'm just even more hyped for this now. I cannot wait to see what happens. And you know, if Ren is able to pull off the victory here, his star is just going to go is rising to the top of this victory right here. If he can make it happen, just man, I can't wait to see how it plays out here, bro. It's just going to be fantastic. It's sensational. And this has been so much fun talking with you. I don't want it to end. I want to keep going.
I know.
There should be more fights to talk about here. We only had 11 fights to talk about. I could keep going for hours with you. This is so much fun, Aisha. I can't thank you enough. I mean, this is just, man, I'm so hyped for this. I'm gonna go order on Ryzen.tv right now.
Dude,
and also, another thing, the Abima channel.
Yep.
The Abima, they are opening up an international stream for this where you can order through Abima if you want to. I mean, they are bringing ringside commentary. They're opening up Abima. They're just pulling out all the stops for this super fight here. Super Ryzen 3 is going to be huge, arguably the biggest mixed martial arts Japanese combat sports event of this new era. It's going to rival the match, possibly beat the match, and just I can't wait to see if it does. I mean, this is. I hope that the fights deliver for the fans. I would have liked there to be more fights on here with more international fighters, because I think there's going to be all eyeballs are going to be on this card on Saturday night here or Sunday early morning for international and East Coast time zone fans. But it's going to be sensational. And if you can't stay up, don't even trip. Both the Abima and Ryzen.tv have replays included. So, you know, don't even trip if you can't stay up to watch. You can get up the next day and watch the replay or whenever you want. It's going to be awesome, you guys. I cannot wait to watch with y'all. And Aisha, again, thanks for having me on. I don't want it to end. I'm having so much fun. I don't want this show to end. This is awesome.
I don't want this to end either. It's one of my favorite parts of the month, linking up with Jay Wolf, the only other and arguably bigger Ryzen fan than me here in North America. As always, guys, check out the We Are Ryzen podcast. Check out Focus Fights, as Jay Wolf does appearances on both of those shows regularly. And where else can they find you, sir?
Right here on the City Life Project, one of the best podcasts around, with my man Aisha over and follow him on Twitter as well.
VI Sports Talk, yes sir.
Yes, sir. VI Sports Talk, that's it. And Aisha on the City Life Project right here, one of the best podcasts. Absolutely love appearing on here. Love that you do content for the Epic Ryzen Fighting Federation. Like you're saying, my favorite promotion, and you're one of the most passionate fans about the Epic Ryzen superior rule set. And just I can't thank you enough. And thank you for calling them grounded kicks instead of soccer kicks and helping with the legalization effort. Absolutely love that. And to find me, you can find me on, like we were saying, the We Are Ryzen podcast. Hopefully, going to be doing a review show. I just did a preview show with Drew and Jay Chris, and check that out. We're going to be doing a review show, hopefully. Also on Focus Fights and the Focus Fights audio podcast with Jay Chris. Just had a preview show that we do more, like that's a longer form preview show. Like we just went like almost 3 hours for our preview show for Super Ryzen 3, and then we're going to be doing a review show. That's like the long form review show. Like the We Are Ryzen podcast fits into a nice hour and a half. Then the Focus Fights is like the long form, deep dive, extended preview review show. And then right here is this is the fun show. I have so much fun with you, Aisha. This is the City Life Project. Love talking with y'all. Just love this show. Then possibly on the Rush City Monday review show with y'all, being a guest on there. I love being a guest last time. Your first ever. I love that I was the first ever guest on the Rush City podcast. So look for me in all those places. Possibly also with our good friend Teep to the Junk on Twitter. You know, he's a boxing guy, so he might want to do a boxing show since Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao is here. And who knows what the news is going to be with Ryan Garcia. Who knows? I mean, you have to tune in to find out. Super Ryzen 3. You can follow me on Twitter. Right now I'm at JAYYOLF1. It's misspelled on purpose because that was my original name from Yahoo message boards way back in like 06 or 07 when I first started commenting. There was a million other Jay Wolfs. I just say, you know what, screw it. It'll be easier to search and everything. So, but I'm planning on switching it to the real spelling of Jay Wolf. I'm gonna use like an underscore in there somewhere, but for right now, that's where you can follow me, and on Twitter or X. And if you're a real person, not like a some kind of bot or whatever, I will follow you right back. I follow back immediately. And on the Ryzen Discord, it is so much fun in the Ryzen Discord. It's non-public, so you don't have to worry about any of your comments being shown publicly. And there's so many like-minded fans in the Ryzen Discord. And there's also big time, like I was saying, Drake Riggs. He's in the Ryzen Discord. The number 3 at Ryzen, Hafid, he's in the Ryzen Discord. We got me, we are Ryzen podcast guys, Focus Fights. Our good friend Daniel Zubicki, our Polish correspondent that gives great insight into the Polish MMA scene. He does commentary, English commentary for Polish, like for KSW, all that stuff, like the KSW Epic that just the fights that just happened. He was doing English commentary for that. He's in the Ryzen Discord. It's a lot of fun. And then of course, the final shout out right here on the City Life Project. Make sure you like and subscribe. I am so thankful and honored to be here with Aisha talking about the Epic Ryzen Fighting Federation right here on the City Life Project. One of the best podcasts around. Can't thank you enough, Aisha. It was just absolute pleasure. I can't wait to do the review shows with you, and I can't wait to do the next Ryzen show. I just love it. It's my favorite, and I want to thank you again. It's just awesome. This is epic. Put the epic in Epic Ryzen.
Hey, man. Likewise, it's such an honor to bring you on. I have so much fun doing this every month as well. I mean, Jay Wolf said it. Like and subscribe, guys. Let us know your picks in the comments below. Join me for the Fight Companion early Sunday morning. And you know what? I'll give the last words to you, my man.
Pride never die. Pride is rising. Peace.
I've been hurt before and saw you inside me.